it's actually hard to believe that we're actually seeing the NBA Finals already. I mean, this season flew by so fast. I mean, and the Bucks are in the finals, and they're taking on the Suns. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
What's poppin', y'all? It's your man, Clout Boy Bells, and welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports, where we talk about nothing but, well, technically Wisconsin sports, but we do other things. We talk about things going on in the other world. We got crazy things going on. We got Rodgers versus Brady playing golf. We got Brewers making more trades. We got all these crazy things going on. But we talk all sports. And obviously this video is on the NBA Finals, but we get to mention the Milwaukee Bucks. My hometown, Milwaukee Bucks, that's right. I get to finally witness the Bucks in the finals. And the team that they will be taking on is the Bucks' kryptonite team, the Phoenix Suns. 2 years ago, Phoenix had the worst record. The Milwaukee Bucks still lost to them both times. Didn't matter, even though, you know what? It didn't matter. You know, teams were different 2 years ago, but things are changed. And, you know, obviously, I'm going to obviously give my preview towards what, you know, is going to probably happen tonight, as well as my prediction for how long the series could go. And a lot of you will probably say, oh, you're going to say the obvious, Bucks, but, you know, there's a lot to it that I had to explain because, you know, we saw what happened in the playoffs this year. This playoffs has been really a year of injuries. And, you know, due to the shortened offseason, you know, a lot of players that are stars in the league, we just didn't get to see him this year, and it's really unfortunate. Jamal Murray tore his ACL. Trae Young had to battle through a Bose Bruin injury, and then Kawhi Leonard, of course, was out for the year, and then LeBron and AD being banged up all year. They just couldn't really do much either, you know, and now you got the Giannis hyperextending his knee in Game 4. I mean, the Bucks were able to win the next two games without him, but it's still considerably a huge loss, and, you know, that's good, but Giannis, believe it or not, might actually play today. I can't believe that. I don't believe it'll happen, but I haven't really believed anything, but it's crazy how things will happen, so that's what I'll say anyways. So to start off, I'm going to just summarize the seasons from both teams. I'll start with the Suns. So the Suns were one of the teams that were invited to the bubble. They were on the verge of trying to get into the playoffs. They went undefeated in those final 8 games in the bubble. Unfortunately, due to a 3-way tie, Portland ended up getting in, which was very unfortunate for Phoenix. And that's obviously the reason why we had those stupid, crappy play-in games, because people enjoyed that for some reason. But Devin Booker is naturally a star. I think we know that by now. Ayton and Mikal Bridges are on the rise, and, you know, and Cameron Johnson as well. You got some guys that are on the rise to be some really great players, and this is going to be, I knew this was going to be a challenging team to face. I'm like, for sure they're going to be in the playoffs next year. I mean, no doubt in my mind. I was thinking the lower seeds, but then they made the signing by getting Chris Paul. And Chris Paul by himself led an average OKC team to 7 games against the Houston Rockets. And I'm just sitting there like, this is just a huge deal. And people were mad because everyone's like, Chris Paul, they wanted Chris Paul to sign somewhere big, and they wanted a super team, but no, he's like, he's going to stay with Phoenix. He's going to Phoenix, and I'm just like, ooh, that's crazy. I'm like, I mean, that, and right away, I'm like, they're finals contenders. I mean, I said they could compete with LeBron James and AD. I knew that right away. I mean, that's crazy. And they also signed Jay Crowder, too. That's another big deal signing, because the dude has played with so many stars, and I think he's a very underappreciated player as well. Great three-point shooter, great defender. I think that's a big deal, and I think that's a great team that you got there. Phoenix, all year they ended up going to getting the second seed. They played the Lakers in the first round where they had to battle, and with injured Chris Paul, they were able to defeat the Lakers without AD injuring his groin, and LeBron James just could not do anything. Phoenix was just too good. Devin Booker was just too good. And that's that. Then they go on to sweep Denver, and then they win in 6 games against the Clippers. Clippers gave it all, but I think everyone knew Phoenix was the better team. And Chris Paul, in his 16-year career, this is his first NBA Finals appearance. Congratulations. I give so much appreciation for you. Anyways, that's a big deal. They have Devin Booker and Chris Paul. Those two guards are really going to be doing a lot. I mean, they're outstanding players. I'm going to the Bucks side. Bucks started out the season very slow, trying to get, obviously, a lot of new faces on the team as they acquired Jrue Holiday in a trade. After getting eliminated from the bubble by Miami, Milwaukee was really looking to rebound and try to figure out things. If they had another bad season, everyone said Budenholzer would get fired, which probably would have happened. Now, they trade for Jrue Holiday. They get rid of George Hill and Eric Bledsoe for Jrue Holiday. And also, in the middle of the season, they decide to trade for P.J. Tucker, for DJ Wilson and DJ Augustine for P.J. Tucker, which was a huge deal. Also, they signed in the free agency, they signed Bobby Portis, who ended up being a huge threat on the bench, as well as Bryn Forbes, another knockdown shooter, a very underrated player. Also, and that's some good things for them. Also, what's crazy is a lot of people thought the Bucks were nothing. They thought going back, I thought we were. I'm like, this team doesn't even deserve to be in the playoffs. I thought we were that bad go in the season. And then going on, when they made the trades, they kept connecting as a team. Holiday playing on another team for many years, it took him a while to adjust, and he was able to do it. And that was a big deal for Jrue Holiday. Now, the Bucks obviously had to play the Heat, and they regained their favor and swept the Heat after they got demolished by the Heat last year. It was a good revenge win for the Bucks. Then they play the Brooklyn Nets, basically a series that had tons of what-ifs. What if KD's foot wasn't on the line? What if James Harden or Kyrie Irving didn't get injured? What if Joe Harris actually knocked down his shots? This season was really the Nets. Everyone thought the Nets were going to win the whole thing this year, and due to injuries and karma, it just didn't work out in their favor. Bucks were able to win that series in 7 games, probably one of the biggest wins in the Bucks franchise history. Then they go on to face the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta, who was a Cinderella team. A lot of people were kind of rooting for them, but it didn't really matter. Milwaukee, who had the upper hand. Then Giannis gets injured. It was a huge deal. A lot of fans thought he was done for the year, but there was no structural damage. Don't know how that was possible, but that just proves he is a strong dude, and I give him so much credit. Game 5 and Game 6 were without Giannis. The team looked completely different, and Atlanta just could not adjust. Milwaukee is going to the finals for the first time in 47 years. Their first chance. It's been 50 years since they've won a title. For the Phoenix Suns, this is their chance to ever win a title. This is their first chance to ever. Yeah, it's crazy. We've seen all the teams, have so many titles, but Phoenix has never won. They have never won one. The last time they've been to a finals was when they had Charles Barkley back in 1993. They lost to the Chicago Bulls. It's just interesting. It's just interesting to just see all this go on, and definitely I really enjoy it. I mean, it's nice to see, I grew up as a Bucks fan watching Kobe Bryant on the Lakers, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett on the Celtics, LeBron James on the Heat, Tim Duncan on the Spurs. I watched those finals, and then of course the past couple years with the Golden State Dynasty and LeBron James on Cleveland. Those were some great years as well, watching some entertaining finals. But the fact is, this is the first time we're seeing a finals without Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, this is the first time we see a lot. This is all new faces. There's no finals experience from any of these people. No, none of these players. The only player was Jay Crowder, he was on Miami last year, and of course they went to the finals last year. He's the only person that has that experience on the Suns. So this is really new for everybody, and that's a great deal. So anyways, Giannis's injury was a scary moment because a lot of Bucks fans like myself thought he tore his ACL and that's the season. Now, this morning he was obviously at doubtful, and then he's upgraded to questionable, and now it's like, oh, he's might actually play today because it's now a game time decision. I don't even know how. This happened a week ago when he hyperextended his knee, and it's crazy to think that we're actually at this point already. So if he plays, that's just going to be remarkable, and I love that. I love that for him. For the Suns, this is going to be a huge deal. I mean, they had the chance to win their first ever title. I mean, at least hopefully we see a lot of fun games. I hope that hopefully this series goes extra games, because I just don't want this to end in a sweep on either team. But hopefully it doesn't end up being like Tampa destroying Montreal in the Stanley Cup Finals right now. But you know what? I'm hoping for the best. So I talked a lot, so I'm just gonna give my final take. So obviously, before I give my final take, these two teams met. Obviously, when they played, both games ended up being Phoenix wins. The first game, Drew Holiday was not present. However, it was a very close game. Went back and forth. In the very end, Giannis had a chance to get the game-winning jumper, and he missed, even though Chris Middleton was just wide open. But you know what? It's all right. It was just one game. And then the second game went to overtime. Crazy game. Ended up with 0.3 seconds left. PJ Tucker, a very soft call by many people. That was just, a lot of people were not really pleased with this call, but they said we fouled Devin Booker, and of course he had to hit a free throw, and that was it from then. So that was technically it. But, showing those two games were really close and they could have ended either way, it shows that both these teams are capable of beating each other. Now, with Giannis's injury, if he's not available, that could be huge, because I think Phoenix has been able to take advantage of a lot of teams. Milwaukee has been careless. They turned the ball over, but Atlanta isn't the team that really was that explosive. This is a team that is very explosive and is great defensively. So I think, as it is, this is going to have to really rely on our guards. Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday versus Devin Booker and Chris Paul. So obviously the guards, I think, really are going to have to play some great things. Having Giannis, I think, is going to definitely help, because I don't know who's going to be put on him. Crowder or Ayton is going to go on him. I don't know what will happen. But if he even plays, he's probably not going to play many minutes. He'll only go in a minute restriction probably. But from what I know, I'm hoping for the best. So if this is the case, if Giannis ends up coming back in this series, I'm going to take the Bucks to win it, because I think, from what I've seen, Giannis is going to slowly get back to himself. He's not going to be 100%, but from all the other players, if the other players keep playing aggressive, and we see that from all, like Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton and even Brook Lopez, I think that's a huge deal for the Bucks. Getting Giannis back, I think, is going to be definitely helping them. If that is the case, I will say the Bucks win in 7 games. If Giannis does not return, the Suns will win the series. Okay? I gotta be completely honest. I think the Suns, as I said, from the start of the playoffs, the Suns were the best team right now. if they in the West. And if the fact is, if they were playing the Nets, I'd probably pick the Nets to win. But the Suns, I think, are pretty dang good right now. And the best way to put it is, if they have no Giannis, I think it's going to be, I don't know, if they win a game in Phoenix, that'd be great. But it's going to be very tough to beat a team that knows how to beat us really well. So with that, I will say Suns in 6, if that's the case. But regardless, I think this series really depends on Giannis's availability. So that's that. So hopefully you guys enjoy the finals. I will. I might be down at Deer District. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting 2 weeks. I'm hoping that we can bring our second title home, and maybe even for the Phoenix, if they win their first title, good for them. But we'll see what happens, obviously, in the coming days. So anyways, more updates to come. It is your man, Clubboy Bales. Stay tuned. Subscribe below. Comment with your thoughts. Stay safe. Be smart. And as always, go Bucks. We'll see you next time.